Hi there, welcome to the video. Welcome if you're currently here in the live premiere. So yes, I still have the other video coming out later tonight. Make sure to be on the lookout for it, 9:20 or 9:25 p.m. UK time. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. That is the main one tonight. But I just wanted to make this video right here, right now. There's a bit of a summary, being able to apply it and tie it with Dylan Round's case, right? Things have kind of dropped off since coverage, yeah, I guess as a whole. And kind of the negative side effects of what seems to be going on over time, a pattern I've noticed, okay? So this is going to be me showing my thoughts, okay? Feel free to listen along if you want. If not, make sure to use the live chat on the right hand side, share your thoughts, opinions, reactions and talks about anything and everything, okay? Shout out to Cleo, of course, very good individual for the presence in recent times still to this day. You know, super chat's very good of her, as well as Confluence and maybe the odd other person if I didn't remember their name. Of course, shout out to Whatever, that's what they're called on YouTube, Whatever, with their presence in recent time and their understandings and showing their thoughts and opinions. They're a good individual, so shout out to those. Okay, trying to say that. As for last night's video, if you haven't already checked it out, make sure to do so. The breaking news within the YouTube streets, my thoughts, opinions, responses, and also the focus on Bob Farrell as well. Link will be down below in the pinned comment section. And I think we don't need to look at the comments, okay? What's been said has been said, and some of it's been cleared up, others have been responded to, so we don't need to really focus there today. So I just want to get right into it, okay? Because we've still got the video later, 9:20, 25 p.m. UK time, so more focused on that in a sense. But I think I'll also talk about today why there are no mods on this channel, okay? And I'll include it in the title so people can clearly see it and I guess understand why there aren't any here. We briefly touched upon it in the previous video, and we can get a bit more into it today and explain it further. But is there any loose points I just wanted to, mention right now? I noticed Kathy Waters left a comment on one of my posts saying YouTube's been a bit dodgy or something. Watch out, be careful. Shout out to Kathy Waters with her concern. Appreciate it. Should be okay for now. The focus on Dylan Rounds would normally be the priority. Whatever is going on the sides, whatever, you just focus on Dylan Rounds, push forwards. But at this moment in time, there isn't really much to cover at this point on Dylan Rounds, unless I suddenly think of a few more ideas and then put them into the notepad. At this moment in time, Cav reached a checkpoint, covered a fair bit, right? 330 videos made within a year or so, or just over a year now. If there's any map ones that can be done, there's any past events that need covering and restructuring on the maps, that can take place as well. But for my notes or my log, I've reached a checkpoint system right now. Focused on the Degen Island, that's a good thing to keep up with. It's fun, it's creative. Of course, shout out to Miss T, I believe the architect behind the whole concept of Degen Island. Besides it being fun, it's probably a unique concept and structure and somewhat effective on Miss T's channel. So I get that, it works, you've done well, okay? Shout out to Miss T. And it's good that she's got the sense of humour to, understand and allow other people to do their recreations or documentations of the island itself. So that's all good. No tension, no friction. Well, there might be a bit of friction if the udders are grinding against the kitchen door, but that's a different story. More about that later on tonight. Be on the lookout for it. if anyone hasn't already, make sure to check out my recent community post. Did another custom edited photo. Well, I shouldn't say custom edited, it was an actual photo, to be honest. Shout out to Betty Haywood there with her business in the background. But yeah, let's just put that aside. Just talk a bit more serious. So I noticed once again, Bob's last live stream, Kathy and Axel still doing this. Bit problematic. Idiosyncratic, odd behaviour, that's all I can say, right? It's hard to process what they're really on about, okay? It's unfortunate, but is what it is. Was there anything else going on back there? Not really. I think Jim Terry made a reference or so. Something to do with my channel. But once again, it's unfortunate that someone like Jim Terry or maybe Mr. X or both together fail to understand language, okay? English language, specific words, right? So what's like an example on the spot? So at the time of uncertainty, when it wasn't truly clarified, a video suggesting what are the possibilities to who's responsible. Who could possibly be responsible for Betty Haywood's original channel being shut down? And some of their names were mentioned as a possibility, but not described or worded as a fact. But obviously Jim Terry, maybe Mr. X too, didn't listen. That's their problem, okay? Over time, I've come across people that don't listen and then complain. And then when they listen back, they think, oh, and then some delete the comments, others just keep quiet. Unfortunate, but that's just what happens when people don't watch the videos fully, right? Their problem. Anyway, put that aside, what about Dylan Rounds? Besides the checkpoint system being reached, is there any negatives going on? Well, first of all, as for upcoming stuff, really it's that on the 31st of July, that next court hearing of Brenner, see what happens there, whether it's a success or it's delayed once again, more problems. Anyone in the chat right now, has anyone forgotten about it, or most people just prepared waiting for it? 31st of July, I believe. I don't know how it will go, positive, negative. It just wouldn't surprise me if there's more twists and turns or something is dragged out. It's happened more than enough by now, so, As well, the search efforts and the questions on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page has gone quiet for a while now. Very silent, okay? Sure, things might be going on in the background. It just makes you question to what extent, how serious, how important, how successful are things going on. Sometimes quiet silence is a good thing. They're getting on with stuff. They might find something. Who knows? But then again, got to look back to, what was it, near Christmas time of 2022 and going into the new year. It was very quiet for the past few months then. But I guess the reason was because of winter time, so you couldn't go out searching anyway. So that was the reason behind that. We are in summertime now. I don't think it's flooding at the moment in Lucin, Utah. If it is, correct me if I'm wrong. So what else is happening, I wonder? Let me know your thoughts down below to what you think. You think anything important has been found? New leads, success, or is it still just a bit flat? And, reaching brick walls, not knowing which direction to go in. Just let me know. The next point, what I wanted to bring up is like a negative, but it has happened. So maybe at times in the past, when it comes to drama and tension, it's led to Dylan Rounds' name being tarnished, mockery of the case itself because of how others have behaved over time with one another and maybe towards certain family members. Maybe they have switched and changed over time, but they once may have, said or done some edits which people have remembered about, that type of stuff. Does that still happen to this day? Dylan Round's name, legacy being tarnished? Maybe not as much now, because most of the drama has shifted in different directions and maybe in different communities now, right? But another thing has happened, and it's like, what would you call it? Dylan Round's case fading away. Traces of Dylan Round's covered fading away. That is what's happened on YouTube, I'd say. Really, two examples: Salty Pancakes and No Thanks. They were reported, they've received strikes, channels have been terminated for whatever reason. But you know who? Well, I don't know if you can say suffers. What's another word? Misses out. Who's impacted the most? Well, no. At what cost? Right, yeah, that's the correct word. So whilst these different channels who cover not only Dylan Rounds but other stuff with time, the channel's being terminated, at what cost? It's led to the knock-on effect of all those cases, interviews and coverage of those missing people or of the families' interviews all gone to waste. Unless they've been backed up on a hard drive or something, but at least what I know of or not seen, you know, it's like had a knock-on effect, right? So, like when you look at Doug, No Thanks, not everyone likes him. In terms of some of the videos Doug has uploaded, you could arguably say are somewhat important as it documents the Dylan Rounds case, Candice Cooley. Whether you agree with it or not, it like documents the case to look back on if you need answers or if you want to question stuff and just analyze it. But that isn't possible anymore because obviously the channel's been taken down and so have the videos. So when you do have these YouTube channels out there who may act out or do stuff which then warrants them being reported or taken down, whilst they themselves might feel like they're not doing anything wrong, or, you know, it doesn't really matter to them that much, they need to realise that all the stuff they've uploaded does matter, or some of it matters, maybe to many out there in the sense of documenting, archiving a case about a missing person. When you lose that stuff, not good. When you look back at it, not possible. It's like removing, destroying the traces of Dylan Rounds. It's kind of going backwards in a way. I mean, I wonder what Candice Cooley thinks about it, you know? When's the last time Candice Cooley, if we're applying it to the Dylan Rounds case, okay? When did she last do it, like an interview on YouTube? Well, it was on Doug's channel, of course, because they get on well and communicate. And it was like so many days after the first 1 year anniversary of Dylan Rounds in May, or getting towards the end of May, I should say, 2023, right? A few days after that, if not going into the next month, early days of that month. And that was the last interview, right? Well, I think it was. Or was it? No, actually, no, it wasn't. I don't think it was. No. It was supposed to be the last known interview, I should word it. It was supposed to be the last known interview what should and would have taken place. If you fast forward on to now, when the channel has been taken down, technically that would have been the last known recorded interview of what happened with Candice Cooley and what she had to say. But it never happened. That's what I meant to say, right? An actual interview taking place between Doug and Candice Cooley was before the 1 year anniversary of Dylan going missing. But during the anniversary, a few days afterwards, Doug did a video reacting to the East Idaho News Channel interview with Candice Cooley and Justin Rounds. and also announced that he himself will do an interview one-on-one with Candice Cooley in the coming days. Many months on, never happened. Why? Does anyone know? Does anyone know why Doug never interviewed Candice Cooley when he said he was? Is it because of background stuff going on? Busy? Either way, I don't know. But of course now there's no chance of it happening because Doug's channel has been terminated. So it makes me think, how is Candice Cooley feeling about it, right? You think about it, Candice Cooley and Doug talk behind the scenes about whatever, right? That Candice Cooley has acknowledged that Doug enabled her to give her a platform to talk, to speak up, to spread awareness of Dylan's case, to set the record straight and get rid of any misinformation in between. You could argue maybe it was somewhat successful. It at least enabled us to hear what Candice Cooley had to say about the case itself, providing updates. I know not everyone agrees with them or believes in those updates, but it was something better than nothing. Justin Rounds, who could be more accurate, the only problem, a man of few words, didn't really give many, if not any, updates, outwards towards the general public, which is fine. But if you yourself want to learn about the case and be up to date with stuff, you're probably better off listening to Candice Cooley just because she's more vocal. You don't have to believe everything she says, but there's no harm in listening, right? So with that being out of the window now, thrown out the window, Candice Cooley, does she have a platform to speak on? Well, not going to be on Earthworm Infotainment because how that's gone. And I guess Candice Cooley, the way she views other YouTubers out there, not exactly in a positive light, so I guess that rules that out. I mean, you still got the East Idaho News channel, I guess, but they don't do it as frequent, do they? They might do it like once every 2, 3, 4 months or so, something like that. Mainly Doug at the time. Does anyone think that Candice Cooley could be a bit frustrated with Doug? Let me know your thoughts. Like, the way I see it is, how would I say it? With Candice, well, with Doug, he's got his own channel, he does his own thing, right? He invited Candice Cooley on and it went from there, right? But with Doug creating that second YouTube channel, or just like rebranding it to Dylan's Legacy, and I guess it was approved by Candice Cooley, a channel dedicated to past live streams and videos reposted there from his main channel, maybe as a backup and more of a filter and focus concentrated on Dylan Rounds' case. But that YouTube channel, I believe, has also been terminated and taken down, along with his main channel. You get the idea, a knock-on effect. Now, why was more than one channel taken down? Maybe it's because it's tied with the same email address, possibly. That's all I'm thinking. If for whatever reason people can find the channel and it's under a different name, feel free to do so. But I do remember it being called Dylan Rounds Legacy or Dylan's Legacy. It is profile picture at the sunflowers in the background, channel art, and all the videos there of Candice Cooley interviews between Doug and her. But I can't seem to find it anymore. So you can argue and say all that has gone now. When people say, oh, let's look back at those interviews with Dylan Rounds' mother, Candice Cooley, or Justin Rounds, or whoever else in between, it's like, well, you can't no more because it doesn't exist. That's kind of a problem, right? Because when things get taken away, removed, where do you go? How do you look back? If you're joining in first time and you got to catch up with past discussions, how can you? Because it's no longer there. So it's like erasing history. Maybe internally in the case, everything's documented and noted down, and That's fine. But as for like the community of the Dylan Rounds case, I guess it makes it harder for people to follow the story, the case. But they might have to rely on the missing person people American Network website, in which it gives a timestamp, a timeline, and most of it is misinformation and messed up, never been updated since. So some people will start falling back and relying on old, outdated stuff because the other videos and live streams, interviews are no longer available, and some people won't even know that they existed in the first place. That's not good. That's almost going backwards in the case, right? Now, as I said, my coverage on the case at this moment in time kind of reached a checkpoint, so that's fine. If I get any more ideas, then I will, cover the videos about it. Of course, can do some Kenny Veach MCave stuff every single day. Try to. If it's not possible, do the odd other video, right? No harm in slowing down here and there, but when I do say slow down, I end up uploading 20 videos the next day, so yeah, it is a bit silly that, but just had to try at the time, the little experiment. As a little heads up to anyone that was wondering, the 20 videos uploaded in one day was to try and increase the accuracy score and the trust YouTube has within me when rating my videos for following or not following guidelines, because YouTube poorly and unjustly accused me of not following guidelines, and because that happened on 3 to 4 separate occasions within a 90-day period, you get punished, and then the automated system kicks in where it rates your videos itself. So you've not got the control, and the automated system is corrupt and useless, right? That's been the issue, and it's silly. Upload 20 videos, they said the score will go back up to green. That did happen, and then it went back down in a matter of one day. Weird. So, regards to that, it is what it is. I'm going to still try and be on good behaviour just for the sake of it, maintain a bit of control, But when it comes to DGen Island, no holds barred, right? No holds barred. So yeah, if you have just suddenly joined, don't worry, it's still coming tonight. The entry diary. Every time I type it into the title, I'm on the verge of typing it the wrong way, as in dairy entry, dairy entry instead of diary entry. I got to make sure I don't slip up there. So it tells me I'm probably going to make that mistake one day, but not quite yet. Not quite yet. So if you are interested in that fun video, you need to escape from drama, you need to get away from all this bad stuff, check out the video later, live video premiere, about 9:25 PM UK time. Again, is there anything else to bring up? Idaho 4 case, that's kind of on the sideline, mainly Kenny Veach MCave, Dylan Rounds. One hits a checkpoint, move back to the other. If that hits a checkpoint, move down to the other. Back forth, it just works, it bounces off one another as well. Aidan Clune, of course, is an important one to cover. If there is stuff to look at, then that's what I will do. Sometimes if you're limited with material, you can theorize, but you don't want to go too far off because it can backfire. I heard like some other names mentioned in the backgrounds, whether it be characters, people on YouTube, or ones that might have been impacted in some way because of something going on out there. I heard the name Ashley Martin mentioned. By the way, I don't look at every missing person case. I'm not going to know who is who or which family member is who connected to the missing person, okay? But I think maybe Ashley Martin might have showed up at one point. Maybe not on my channel, but kind of referred to me on another video in the comment section, but in a positive way. So shout out to Ashley Martin for doing that. If I'm correct in saying, just trying to use my memory. Anything else in the background? I mean, that's just a little update. As for Betty Hayward, I was able to tag her in stuff now with her new channel. I guess it was just a bit of a delay, like with YouTube, new channel or a someone changes their username, whatever it might be, sometimes it takes time for YouTube to, I guess, approve of it, so then you can start tagging that individual. Sounds a bit silly, but it is what it is. And I don't know. No, I think it is doable. You know what the interesting thing was? When it comes to tagging people in a video, in the past, you could only do it as if a person had over 1,000 subscribers. That was the catch. If there weren't over 1,000 subscribers, you couldn't tag them in a video. But obviously, that's no longer the case. You can tag almost anyone in your videos, providing their username is unique enough and not too obscure that YouTube can still detect it. Yeah. So yeah, that works for Betty Haywood now. That's fine. That's good. You know, with time, you might get people that analyze or, you know, try and speak on behalf of Betty Haywood, almost like a pet parrot or a vulture or something. And the thing is, when it comes to humans, not everyone, but, you know, a fair few, they can do the little analysis of certain people out there, but it's not always accurate. I think that's the problem, the lack of accuracy. You know, when it comes to Betty Haywood, and, you know, it can apply to other people, other individuals, and maybe those lurking in the background, the darkness, just watching and listening, you know, the situations they may be in, whatever happens, happens, they do what they need to do. But certain thoughts, certain feelings, certain projections forwards, it's all in here, within them, right? It kind of like applies to Betty Haywood. You know, right now, Betty Haywood could be thinking, I know the secret recipe for Betty Haywood's peach bun pie. Do you know? Does anyone else know? People can assume that they know or work around it and act as if they know, but they don't truly. All in here with Betty Haywood. And there might be some other recipes and secrets in there. But, you know, at this moment in time, it remains a mystery. Isn't that right, Betty Haywood? Yeah? Okay. Was there anything else that I needed to point out? Yes, of course. We move on to the second part of this video. Equally, if not more important, to spread awareness, to let people know what is what and why it is the way it is. Okay? And it can be applied to Bob Farrell's channel in comparison, or more so in contrast, as well other channels out there. Hopefully everyone is watching right now, present and maybe listening. We're going to talk about mods, right? I know with time some people have joked, can I be a mod? Can I have the wrench? Yes, no, yes, no. You know, maybe the closest you'll get is Miss T's toolkit where she's got the screwdriver laying about, and, you know, if she loses that, then all hope's lost, right? But in all seriousness, the reality is, if you weren't already aware, my channel, Warlight Ref, there are 0 mods. No mods exist, nor have ever existed before on my channel, okay? Now, bit of a backstory. Some of you may be wondering, what is a mod? What is their role? What is it all about? Basically, it's like a position, a role someone is slotted into, chosen by the channel owner. Channel owner can appoint a person, a viewer, as a mod. They now play a role as a mod. What's the other word? Moderator. That's what it's short for. A moderator. Okay. And it just allows them to have a form of responsibility and access to tools which the viewers don't have access to, right? Ultimately, the channel owner is the one in control and in power because it's their own channel, of course. That's natural, that's normal. But the mod has a bit of power themselves. Not total, not full, but some. And sometimes a bit of power can get to one's head. And that's why it's gone wrong for other channels out there, okay? Now, when you're a mod, what type of responsibilities do you have? What are you tasked with? I guess keeping things under control in the chat, making sure certain behavior isn't displayed, which could appear as inappropriate on that channel, which maybe the channel owner does not approve of. So you're trying to eliminate that stuff, that mess, the distractions, the chaos, the disruption, and maybe threats, bad words. You're trying to suppress all of that, try and cleanse it. So the only people that are there watching, listening, chatting are there for good reasons and meant with good intent, not to cause really any harm to anyone, right? Now, give me a second. When it comes to some channels out there and some of the mods, they can be more strict than others, depending on their preferences, right? You could have a situation where a channel owner is somewhat relaxed, but still has some boundaries. They appoint a viewer as a moderator for that channel, with that live chat. And that mod just so happens to be much more strict compared to the channel owner. So that mod takes more direct action. The tools at their disposal include timing people out, blocking some, maybe reporting as well. You know, that type of stuff where you can suppress comments, delete comments, and if not, an actual person trying to make communication in the chat, you can't banish them completely, but you can hide them so no one else can see the comments by that user on this channel, right? When something like that happens, when power gets too much to their head, they take over, take too much control, that channel owner, who may not be aware of it at the time, ends up suffering and being on the receiving end of it all. Because what ends up happening is you get the waves of people complaining, why have I been blocked? Or why has my friend been blocked? Why has this been timed out? What is going on, channel owner? Why are you allowing this to happen? Are you aware of it? Are you responsible? That channel owner takes all the flack from all this incoming fire. That can apply to Bob Farrell, as it's happened in recent time, okay? And it can happen to other channels out there who've appointed mods, people. I can't give like examples on the spot of people that have been appointed a mod and then caused more trouble than good, and then it led to the channel owner being negatively impacted. I can't think of any specific examples, but if you know of any, feel free to list them down below, okay? But yeah, the methods, the point of being a mod is to make the community of that channel, the chat, a better place, and maybe in some people's mindsets, a safer place, right? But how often does that happen? From what I've seen, all it's ever done is cause more problems. Just from my experience, what I've seen elsewhere and what I've heard. There will be times where it works out and it's good, but sometimes there are other ways of filtering out the badness just by simply having subscriber mode turned on, or members only can comment on the video, live stream. You know, there's other ways around it, right? But I guess what the mods can do, the videos can be publicly viewable, not restrictive in that way. But as for the chatting, if there is any trouble, if people can't control themselves, then the moderator takes a form of action. But depending who they are, if the wrong ones are appointed, it causes more problems than good. And I have seen it happen quite a bit, right? Now, we link back to my channel, okay? When it comes to my channel, does it compare to other live streams or live video premieres out there in terms of numbers, traffic of people watching live? No, for most part of it, not at all, okay? Sometimes maybe there's been about 100 to 126 on the odd occasion, new personal best, which is really good in my experience. Even then, at about 126 people, it wasn't disruptive. The chat itself might have been a bit fast and rapid, hard to keep up with, but it wasn't a problem. Not much negativity, right? Now, other channels out there, they might have 200 to 500 people watching live. Obviously, they're doing better than me, but in terms of levels of disruption, they are worse off than me, right? So at times when you've got a higher volume of traffic, maybe you need some kind of filtering system. So the moderator takes action, takes role, and is placed in that chat to fix things, right? You know, the more people watching, the higher the chance of some trouble starting by someone, right? If you've got a smaller amount of people watching, a smaller group, you might know each other better. There's going to be less problems. Though, there have still been the odd few issues, what I've seen, but it hasn't been all the time. Just every now and then. Like little moments, right? And because it doesn't happen all the time, like certain action doesn't need to be taken, okay? So that's kind of like one of the reasons to why I don't have any moderators on here, because, you know, it's not like an extreme amount of people watching. If it was like 20,000 people watching, might be a good idea to have a moderator. But then again, you could argue and say, even if it's used as a means of keeping control and order, that if it does go wrong, backfire, all it means is you got 20,000 more people that might have issues with you because someone as a mod has blocked those people. So it can still cause problems when I think about it. Wow. So yeah, in terms of numbers of traffic, not in a position where mods are needed, okay? Some people might like the idea of being a mod. They feel a bit closer to the channel. They feel more important, more responsible, more responsibilities, etc. But then what that does in its own self is kind of creates a bit of a hierarchy, right? In a little way, in terms of being given more power than other people. And when there might be a bit of a hierarchy, some people could see it as favoritism, and then credibility goes out the window. That doesn't always happen, but it could have been interpreted as that way some point on YouTube elsewhere, right? So that's like another issue it can cause. Now, aside from responsibilities and having to do this and monitor that, the way I envision it is, besides me who creates the videos, edit the videos, source out the stuff and piece it all together and then post it and then edit it and then join the live premiere, that all aside, one-man army, right? When it comes to the actual video being publicly viewable, the way I see it is, no one should have to be a mod. No one should have to have the responsibility to do this, to check that. They should just be able to simply watch the video without any responsibilities and just enjoy the video. And if not that, enjoy the chat and communicate with other people in the live chat box without having to worry about, am I doing a good enough job as a moderator? Should I be looking out for this? Should I be doing that? Move all that responsibility aside, because obviously humans, besides watching these videos, will have their own responsibilities going on in the background in life. One shouldn't have to be given more responsibilities on top of everything else they're currently doing. The point of being present, watching a YouTube video, doesn't just apply to me, it can apply to other videos out there you may watch. You should just be able to watch it as a form of entertainment or just to learn, right? You should be able to separate fun activities away from the more serious, maybe a bit boring or slightly negative stuff, right? When you get a situation, you know, even if you wanted to be a mod or you're kind of on the fence about it, you come over to a form of entertainment, a video, the platform YouTube, then you're given the mod role. At first you think, oh, this is kind of fun, this is kind of new and interesting and exciting. Then you realise there's responsibility and maybe a level of pressure. I must perform, I must behave, I need to get the balance in, I don't want to cause any further problems. A bit uncomfortable, the feeling. That's not going to apply to everyone. There might be a lot of people right now that, you know, don't agree with that, but a responsibility is a responsibility, and that's not always for the right reasons or for fun reasons, right? You just got to get it done. Now, obviously, when it comes to a role of a mod, you're not forced to be one, but it could be one of those situations where you get yourself involved in it and then you realise, maybe it's not great. Or you might find out down the line in the long term and you felt the negativity along the way, right? As well, you think about it, attention retention rate. Besides entertainment, learning about something can be important in its own right, depending on how interested somebody is. Now, if a person is given the role of a moderator, that attention and focus slips away. They're too busy focusing on the chat, what's going on there, rather than the video itself. So they actually neglect the whole point of why they're present, right? So that's another thing. If you're doing a video and you got breaking news, it's very important, right? Besides, however the chat is responding and reacting, it's not the end of the world. Even if people misbehave, it's not going to lead to the video itself being shut down, taken down, right? So it's not the end of the world there. But what is a problem is if people aren't paying attention because they're busy doing other things, like being a moderator on the channel, they're not going to take it in fully. They're not going to truly understand it. And it might be a time or moment where a great deal of focus is needed and necessary, and it can benefit you as well. But that isn't possible if there are other responsibilities going on, right? I know some people will say that, oh, they're doing responsibilities, they're doing stuff in the background, they're busy, they're doing errands, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're going here, they're going elsewhere, I'm listening in the background. Yeah, some people can multitask, that's good of them. But I'm just giving it from my point of view, just my opinion only, when it comes to the moderator thing. And even if people dismissed one of the, ideas by me or opinions, I did back it up with several different bullet points of different ways why I see it's not that practical, right? People should be able to come on in, watch the video, chat in the chat if they want to, have fun, take it in and relax and not feel like they have to perform or be on high alert, right? The person that should be on high alert around here is really mainly only me, because I'm the one that is, creating videos on the channel. If I F up, I F up. If I look like an idiot, I look like an idiot. If I develop or produce a hard-hitting video, a breaking news one, it's got to be done the right way, right? So that's like how it works in my opinion. Some people might still genuinely want to be a mod, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's necessary. I feel that for most part of it, humans that do watch my videos and are active live viewers can control themselves to a reasonable degree. That one's own trust is in them to behave somewhat appropriately without feeling the need to be locked with chains or gagged with a ball, not to that extreme. And, what I'd say is on other channels out there where desperate times, desperate measures, bring in a mod, bring in multiple, that's when one, the channel owner has lost control of the chat itself. But the chat itself and the audience members present have lost a bit of respect for that channel owner, for them to be misbehaving and acting out however they are. So like third-party direct action is brought in, enforced to control order. It just shows that control has already been lost from the beginning. But someone like here, control hasn't been lost, disruption hasn't taken over, because there's not been a dire need for mods, because people can behave fairly well, right? That's all good. So, of course, shout out to all the people that watch my videos, and as well the people that do watch live or at times manage to catch the videos live. I had noticed that in recent times there have been maybe new viewers coming on in. That might be because of my short videos, what I have done in the background, of course, but mainly because of the certain topics and people we've been talking about in my videos and the titles, such as last night about Lincoln Kane and No Thanks. There's a few people popping on in, never seen before. Let me know your thoughts. Did you see a lot of new faces this time round here? Let me know, okay? Are they always going to be around? Maybe not, but I guess the positive is it just goes to show that you still get new waves of people over time. So it's not, it doesn't feel completely isolated to the rest of YouTube, right? Because even if you do cover a singular case, right? You lock down on it, you focus. Maybe after a while you think, oh, are we the only ones on this earth, on this platform kind of like situation? But then you do the odd other video and you see new people and you think, ah, it's not too bad, it's okay. So that's my thoughts on it. Do you want to share my thoughts overall with the situations going on YouTube, right? I mean, at one part I was thinking, is there like some kind of curse where if you associate yourself with a certain channel and let them onto your show that you end up being worse off down the line? It's kind of applied in a way, but there's still other channels out there, existing ones, which have invited the dark force over, and it didn't backfire there. So kind of hit and miss, right? But YouTube are in full force in recent time, so who knows what will happen next. It could get messy, unfortunately. And as for the likes of the Dylan Rounds case and maybe other missing people cases out there, the documentation of it on YouTube, some of it is slipping away, fading away into oblivion, never to be seen again. That really isn't good. The whole aim is to keep the cases alive, spread awareness, try and set the record straight. And you've got other channels out there being taken down, whether they be misbehaving or not. It has a knock-on effect to all the stuff they've documented on a case, which is very negative, right? So yeah, that's all done and explained for now, and the role of not having any mods. I might be one of the only few channels out there which does not have any mods, nor has ever had mods here. Let me know your thoughts, fam. If you do have any comments, list down below. If you do have any questions, leave them down below and we'll respond back to them when possible, okay? So I'll say thanks for watching, but we're not done yet. As said, about 9:25 p.m. UK time coming up, there will be the Degen Island vlog, diary entry number 5 or number 6. Make sure to be on the lookout for it. If for whatever reason you have no clue what it is, or you've just joined this video or channel, welcome. Just to simply put it as, if you need to watch something a bit more light-hearted, or you need to escape from darkness, drama, whatever, conflict, check the video out. It might help you in some way or another, okay? That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye for now.